Bunch of beautiful.
Get that going. Just as soon as that fires up. How's everybody doing today?
I am doing wonderful, my friend.
Fantastic. It's a marvelous Monday.
Awesome, awesome. All right, let's get going here. All right, welcome everyone to this week's edition of the Business Owners Mastermind Group called the Business Doctor Show, put on by yours truly, the Business Doctor John Pyron and Choya Harden with Incredible Towns, Incredible Business Networks. So, Monday, here we are, 13th of April. Second Monday of a new calendar quarter, new month, etc. And this is the second Monday of the month. So our format, and if you're new to the conversation, the first Monday is marketing, the second Monday is sales, the third Monday is operations and systems, fourth Monday is accounting, finance, and administrative, and then 4 times a year where there's a fifth Monday, it's just live Q&A. Okay, so this has been going on since April. What's funny is it's April of 2013. So let's see, I dropped out of high school. The math on that would be 13 years. So time goes by quick. Okay, I can tell you that right now. I'm not going to get into the other significant thing that happened on April 13th, 19 years ago, but I was talking to my wife this morning. I'm like, man, 19 years went by quick. Okay. I was 37 years ago, and I'll say this: build your business in such a way where you can have freedom. Okay, and it leads right into our topic of sales today. 19 years ago on today, I was playing golf in Carmichael, California. Jay, you know where this is, Ansel Hoffman Golf Course.
Gorgeous
to
golf
be
course.
exact. Par 5. Okay, and I get a very important phone call from my mother, and a huge tragedy happened, and I had to now leave the golf course and go and be completely unplugged in my company for about 2 weeks. Okay. No choice, no ands, ifs, or buts. Didn't matter if everything fell apart. The only thing that gave me peace of mind, the only thing that gave me confidence is I had mastered the art of sales. I knew that even if I came back and every single thing had fallen apart, I can rebuild. Okay. Didn't matter if I was good at marketing, didn't matter if I was good at operations and systems and payroll, employees and finance and accounting and administrative support and anything else. The one thing I've learned over 35 years of doing business and 27 years of professional consulting is when I mastered the art of sales, I gave myself the biggest gift on the planet, which was my freedom for the rest of my entire adult life. Okay. It didn't matter because I went through the .com thing. I went through the 1989 stock market crash, went through the 2008 housing crisis, COVID, and all 4 of those major disastrous seasons. I watched business owner after business owner have to go back to work for somebody, and I did not have to do that. I came very close in 2013. Okay, very, very close. Thursday before Thanksgiving 2013, my entire business collapsed on itself because I made the biggest mistake of having 90% of my business tied up with one customer. Lesson there for you. The only thing that saved my bacon, December 2nd, 2013, is my wife was screaming to the top of her lungs, "You got to go get a job." And I'm like, "No, I don't want a job. I'm allergic to a job. I will break out in hives. I will probably die." Okay, I have a permanent medical condition. The only thing that gave me the confidence, and I looked her square in the eye and I said, "I know how scary it is. Okay. But I need you to trust me, and I need you to take care of Preston, and I need you to take care of the home, and I'm going to have to work from home. and then this door is closed. Do not knock on this door unless the house is on fire. I have to sell right now. I pulled every single thing out of every single orifice of my being, body, mind, spirit, whatever, and poured it all towards sales. I knew Jay Hornbuckle back then. Jay didn't know what I was going through. Okay, but Jay's my special guest here today for me and Choya because Jay raised his hand, and Jay has been an incredible salesperson, business owner for years. Okay. And so, Jay Hornbuckle, please tell us about Abatus and yourself, sir, before we start getting into our dialogue about sales.
Oh, 100%. So first thing, just to sort of echo you, is I'm definitely allergic to being an employee, and being an employee is just for some reason something that I am just not a good part of. Entrepreneurship, where you're a sales rep within a system, that's definitely okay. I know there's a couple people on here that are in that situation. Absolutely. That's what salespeople do. So whether you're working for your own business or for somebody else's, I have definitely done both, but I have been a salesperson my entire life, and I love it. Now, Abatus, which grew out of an entrepreneurship that I was doing with Pacific Advisors and Integrated Financial, where I was a medical broker. They still couldn't tell me what time to be in, not, how many hours to work, that kind of stuff. But I was under their umbrella, just brokering all the different medical carriers. Just like Justin Leach is on here, that is what he does. And with being a medical broker, being a PEO broker, which medical is part of that, is professional employer organization. And so there's about 500 PEOs across the nation, and Abatus is willing to work with any PEO that makes sense for the customer, that, one, doesn't make it tough for the customer, and two, doesn't make it tough for the broker. And I've only found one PEO that seems to have a hard time with that. And I always say, I will never say their name on here, but I will give you their initials, and that is ADP. So that's always my good PEO joke, and my PEO people on here, Dan Hausman, who happens to work for Paychex, can appreciate that. and I will give Dan a shout out as one of the best representatives out there.
I love the story. It's like ADP, man. It's like my friend Dave Curley, who's runs all the big companies that are 50 employees and above on the Western Coast, Western region. I still cannot get back to being or recommending ADP after literally double paid my payroll taxes and wouldn't fix it. I was like, I'm done, man.
Well, believe it or not, John, I just heard from somebody on Saturday that had almost that same exact story.
Oh yeah, it's but let's move on real quick.
I want to
be
those
respectful.
without any retribution.
Yeah.
So, anyways,
give me 1 second. Time out.
Yep.
Time out. Hold on. Okay. So I want to make sure that we really come and deliver what people came here for. Let's talk about sales, dude. So let's talk about what are some of the things over the last 20 years. Okay. If you had to go back and talk to young Jay 20 years ago, okay, what would you tell young Jay, okay, about sales at that moment in time?
Yeah. When you say 20 years, I've been going for a little more than 30 now. And
yeah, I would be respectful of your age, man. So there you go.
I appreciate that. And I've said this before. I want to say I said this last month. There is definitely a difference in sales today than 30 years ago. The internet has made a big change People that are old enough to remember, whether it was the ABCs, Always Be Closing, Feel, Felt, Found, ADA, which are still processes, but now with Google being able to find things out, selling is more of an emotional event, and you have to ask the questions to find out what the challenges are in a business. You can't go in assuming where a business owner is at. That's for my people that work with business owners. So I will admit there is a difference between selling to the public as compared to selling with business owners, and that's who I am. And so that is why John and I will work well together, because John understands the public. I mean, he still works with business owners. That's what he is. He's the business doctor. He is, a coach among businesses. But I will give John, that one extra step is he understands working in the residential market also. And so that is something I definitely appreciate about what you do, how you do it, and the differences, because he can coach like a real estate agent, right? They're working with the residential market, where I can coach anybody who works with business owners, because business owners are a unique brand and they have unique challenges that, the person that, works for the local Oak
All right,
Ridge
so
lab here is different.
let's take a moment here real quick. So instead of feed my ego and blowing my head up, okay, let's check this out. So what do you think about this? Is when you look at sales, okay, and this is a question for everybody, put your comment in the chat window, right? So one of the things that you said is you're like, don't go into a prospective client situation thinking you know everything, okay? Ask lots of questions. So one of the things that, and I would agree, let me look at everybody's business here that I am aware of. Everybody in here, unless you tell me otherwise, has a service-based business, okay? Meaning you're providing a service, okay? You're not doing an online store, okay? That's the difference in my world of what I'm talking about right now, or a restaurant. And so asking lots of questions like Jay is talking about is huge. Jay, well, let me do two things. Number one, so I get an idea of where everybody is from a baseline standpoint. There's no right or wrong answer to this question. I want you to put in the chat window, when you think of a salesperson, what do you normally think of? And just be honest, brutal, and candid. You're not going to offend me or anybody else. Okay. This is one of those exercises I'm going to come back to before we end today's call. I'm going to help you fix that. It's called sales reluctance or sales resistance. Okay. But for the sake of me and Jay's call, is like, hey, Jay, explain to all of us. Okay. And you and I can go back and forth on this, why it is so important in the early parts of a conversation with a prospective client, and then all throughout the entire sales process until they sign on the dotted line, and then even more so afterwards. Why is it important to ask lots of questions?
And I'm going to say with that is to build rapport, because by asking questions, you are building trust. You are saying, hey, I care about you enough to not tell you what you need. Instead, I'm willing to do the work and find out what you need.
Bingo. Bingo. Very, very well said. It's like, one of the things that I've learned more and more is, I don't want to say this. Okay, so I was gone on vacation. Okay. And teed up my entire team, okay, with a pipeline that had a lot of momentum. Okay. They ran a bunch of calls. Okay. And unfortunately, they didn't close anything. Now, not a knock on them. Okay. But it actually helps me help them. And so after the encouragement of my right hand person to go back and listen to the calls that she did and a couple other people did, it's just reminded me, it's like I have failed as a leader. Now I'm gonna own this, because every one of us that are business owners here, the number one thing you can do for your team is when you make a mistake, admit it, and admit it quickly and emphatically. Okay. And be transparent with your team. So I just said, hey, I failed them. I did not teach them the art of asking questions. Okay. So one of the people that they had a conversation with, that they could not move them to a strategy session, I went back and had the conversation again with that person. And the only thing I did differently was ask a bunch of questions. Okay. It's the only thing I did differently. Asked a ton of questions, repeated back to them what they told me, because the art of asking questions, they tell you exactly what they want to buy. And then our job is to help them find a way to get that, not change their mind. Okay. But help them get what they want. And so all I did was, by asking a bunch of questions, I was able to convert that person that could not be converted by another person. And the only difference between the two is experience and asking questions. Now, two resources, and then I'm going to get back with you, Jay, here is Question-Based Selling. It's by a book by Thomas Friess. Question-Based Selling. It's a book by Thomas Friess. It is the art of asking questions. The more questions you ask, you don't have to close or be pushy or anything. If you go off the definition, I was just training somebody the other day on sales. Selling equals service. Sell from honesty, integrity, and compassion. Selling is about leading. Selling is about moving people to action. Okay. And if you put in here, make promises they don't plan to keep, slick, slippery, not honest, used cars. A salesperson wants my money for their own gain. A consultant educates me, provides solutions, and allows me to make an educated buying decision. Those are all valid. But if you think about how we were born, we are all born as natural salespeople. Just try and tell a 2-year-old no. Doesn't work. Okay. They're not going to take no for an answer if they want something. Okay. And they're going to keep coming back, pushy, slick, fast talker, all that stuff. Okay. Because they have no skill set, they have no training. But over time, we as human beings witness an uncomfortable, a sleazy, slick, fast talking, lying salesperson. We're like, oh, I don't want to be that. Ugh. 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 Until we learn what the right definition of sales, which I just gave you. And so the art of asking questions is for me to help understand you, understand what you want. And then again, honesty, integrity, and compassion. Selling's about leading. It's about moving people to action, right? So Jay, give us some practical steps. How do you, when you first engage with a prospect, okay, kind of walk us through, because you're in a very high relationship driven business. Okay. Walk us through some of the questions and dialogue you walk your prospects through to see if they can move to the next step.
Oh, absolutely. First thing I'm finding out is if they are currently with a PEO, and how did they come to the decision of going with that PEO if they happen to be with one? Or do they even know what the term means? From there, I'm going to start asking them questions. How are they handling their HR at this time? What does that look like? Are there any challenges? Is there anything in their business with HR that they would like to change? Same with benefits, same with payroll, same with workers' comp. Do they feel they're at risk, putting their company at risk in any of these areas if something went wrong? You know, whether that's with their onboarding, their offboarding. I'm asking questions. What does that look like for them? And there again, I'm finding out, how do they make those decisions? Are they the only one that makes those decisions, or are there other people that need to be involved in this?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you bring up something that is, they give us everything we need. You know, they
Exactly.
literally tell us every single thing we need if we, and this is something Dave Vanny tried to pound in my head. I hired Dave Vanny as my sales coach because I hated sales with a passion. I especially hated salespeople. I thought they were all slick. I thought they were literal scum, slick, fast talking liars. And all they wanted was my money. That was literally where I was February of 1996. Okay. And then I said, man, if I don't get over this, if I don't figure this out, I will never succeed in business. And I don't have the money to hire a marketing company and spend $10,000 a month on marketing. I actually have to have a conversation with people, which I really did not want to be quite honest. I just wanted the sale, man. I didn't want to go through the hard part. Okay. And the one thing he told me is, he says, in order to succeed in sales, you have to take your focus off of yourself, John. Go read How to Win Friends and Influence People. It's 31 chapters. I want you to read a chapter a day for a solid year. That's what he had to tell me, because I did not care, to be quite honest. I wanted what I wanted. You know, I was a classic definition of a sleazy salesperson, and I hated sleazy salespeople. And I had to change. And so, you know, the art of asking questions is huge, and being genuinely interested in the other person. And one of the things you hit the nail on the head is, if you're a service-based business, if you're on this live call, what I'm about to say will make you $1 million or more for the rest of your life. And that is, once you have a customer that has already bought your service from someone else, one of the key things is to figure out what their buyer fingerprint is and ask them, hey, you know, if I was you, Jay, right, and I'm going after a client, they have had an experience with a PEO. Okay. Hey, talk to me about that last relationship you had with that last PEO. Walk me through the entire process of how they approached you, how they met with you, uh, questions they asked you, why you bought, why did you sign on the dotted line? And they're going to tell you. And that is about 80% of the sales process right there. You don't have to figure out a new way to sell them. They already taught you how to sell to them. Your remaining thing is to fill in the gaps. Am I right or am I wrong, Jay?
What's that? Oh, 100%.
You know,
100%.
what would you add to that?
For this group here, you know, looking around, I don't know where everybody's position is in this. It's something that John and I have that has brought us to where we are today is practice. And so one thing that I meet a lot of sales reps, and you'll talk to them about their last 5 or 10 conversations with potential prospects, and they'll have a hard time with that because they'll go, yeah, I've only had 3 or 4 of those conversations in the last month. And that would be my first thing, is then get out there and have 5 of those conversations today and start moving through that. Now I do know there's a couple people that are on here from operating standard, and they'll know that one because that one gets just driven into us by the guy who leads that. And he'll say, go to the grocery store, talk to 5 people in there, have a real conversation with 5 people today, and then go do it again tomorrow and do it again the next day. And that was probably one of the best things that happened to me as I was going through sales. One of the companies that hired me, that's how we had to start, was we had to go knock on doors and have 100 conversations. And I very quickly changed over to the business to business side of that company. But that was a great exercise to do, was to do that. And now knowing, okay, for my business, I'm a realtor, I'm an insurance guy, I'm selling Legal Shield, whatever that is knowing what questions do I need to ask, write them down, practice them in the mirror, and then go out and have those conversations. Get used to the word no, how to overcome the objections by asking more questions. I know you know how to do that, John. You're an expert at it. We actually learn to love objections. We learn to love the word no, because when you overcome those objections, those are the people that become customers for life. The people that are just too easy, like they sign on the dotted line almost immediately, a lot of times those are the people that you lose faster too, because they said yes without really buying in to what you're doing, and they haven't gone through the process correctly. I don't know if you've experienced that, John.
Yes, I have, and it makes me upset every single time it happens. And not for what you're saying though. Okay, is it? How do I want to say this? Is right now for me personally in the sales process. Keep in mind, I'm going to talk sales process. This applies to every single person on this call. I don't care what you're selling. Every single one of us has a sales process. If you have a single customer, one customer in your business right now, you have a sales process. Just know that. Okay. It's not either whether it's right or whether it's wrong. It actually worked because you have a customer. Okay. So let's just call it what it is. You have a sales process. It worked because you have a customer. That's number one. Number two, now we got to talk about what's called close ratio. Okay. Which is basically essentially what Jay's talking about here. Okay. Is how many conversations marketing's done their job. My marketing has done its job. My social marketing, my email marketing, my carrier pigeon marketing, whatever. Okay. I've gotten somebody's attention. They've raised their hand, says, I want to know more. Okay. That's called a marketing qualified lead. We talked about that last week. Now it gets handed over to the salesperson, or, sales gets involved because now we have somebody that's interested. It's the process from the time I find somebody that's interested to the time they actually give me a referral because I've done such a great job with the delivery. That completes the sales process. Not, I got them to sign on the dotted line and my job is done. Your job as a salesperson is not done until you get a referral from that person because they're so happy about you, they're willing to refer you. Okay. Now, having said that, for many, many years, okay, I carried about a 26% close ratio. So what that meant is out of every 10 people I walked through a sales process, only 2.6 said no, or 2.6 said yes.
Yes.
The other people told me no. And I used to buy off in the fact of, oh man, you're doing great. You got to love no's, man. You got to love no's. You got to love objections. You got to get on the bandwagon. Rah, 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 rah. Go, 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 man. Hey, the more no's, the better. The more objections you get, the better. And I bought and drank that Kool-Aid for probably 15 years. But what that did is that robbed me of investing in myself from a skills training standpoint. Now, hear what I'm about to say, because it's 56 years I'm alive now, And I would not have had this conversation with you at 37 years old. But I have learned then I don't need to contact more people. I already have a rhythm. Truth be told, every single one of us here, if you just get into the habit of contacting 2 people a day, one is a power-based contact, okay? And Alicia's going to send everybody on here. If you put in the chat window or you send us an email and say, hey, I want that resource, okay? I want that resource. And let's see, let's create a code here, Alicia. I want that resource April 13th, 2026, because lots of thousands of people are going to listen to this recording, the YouTube channel. So down the road in the future, when somebody emails us a year from now, I want the resource 04132026, we know what to send them. Okay. We're going to send them the power-based strategy because that's number 1. Number 2, the POI strategy. Once I master those 2 strategies, I will solve my referral problem. Once I have my referral problem, now I need to solve my conversion problem. That's where sales comes in. You need to master the art of converting and getting the right questions and the right people, because right now, and Alicia will verify, I carry a 96% close ratio. Meaning out of every 10 people I offer my services to, 9.6 say yes. I don't like no's. I don't like objection handling. I'm a Jedi master at it, and I still don't like it. And so why do something you don't like? Why not prep the client ahead of time and ask? And it all comes down to questions. The more questions you ask, the easier it is for them to make a decision. And what gets me upset is when they make a decision too fast because I left too much money on the table and I'm underpriced on my services. That's what that actually means. And my fee goes up automatically to the next person until I get 1 or 2 objections is my goal, because that keeps my skill set sharp. Okay. Now, Alicia's also going to send you guys, I did a 2-year training for the Small Business Administration, and I taught them sales process. I recorded it. I'm going to give you all that exact recording, because one thing I told them, I'm like, you guys teach accounting, bookkeeping, finance, marketing, all this fancy crap, but you don't teach people how to convert the leads that they already have. And 95% of I don't know, Alicia, yeah, 95% of the people that come to me, I got a lead problem. I need more leads. I need more leads. You don't need more leads. You need to learn how to convert. Okay. So if you got 10 clients, 10 paying reoccurring clients right now, or 10 clients over the last 90 days, you don't have a lead problem. Because you do the power-based system, you do the POI system, and I'll show you how to take those 10 actual clients and get as many referrals as you want. So now you're not going to have a lead problem no more. You're going to have a conversion problem. Okay. And learning this process will help you with showing up here and asking questions, which I'm shifting gears into right now. So we've talked about some basic sales stuff, talked about, questions and the importance of asking questions and all that other stuff. Now we want to give some real life coaching and consulting here. You can ask me, you can ask Jay. I know Choya has been responsible for expanding IBN to 70 chapters with an average of 10 to 15 people per chapter that show up to that monthly meeting. Do the math on that. And I would rather just sit here and listen to Choya talk about how he did that. Okay. Because that's some magical stuff right there all by itself to get 70 chapters to run without you. That's a sales job if I've ever seen one. Okay. So, and then every business owner on here is in business because they sold something to someone. So we're going to mastermind this at this point. And put your questions in the chat window, raise your hand, first come, first serve, ask whatever sales question you want. And we're going to open it up for anybody and everybody here to give feedback to you so you can have some live coaching today. And it's going to benefit everybody else. There is no right or wrong question, no embarrassing question. The only question that is a stupid question is the one that you don't ask. So with that said, who is going first? Or I'm going to call on somebody. Okay, let's go for it. Alicia Turner, you're on deck. Tell us about your business, okay? Who you are, what you do, And what is the sales question you have?
Thank you. My name is Alicia Turner. I am the owner of Turner Recruiting and Consulting. We offer fractional recruiting services for businesses and executive assistant services. And if you did not know, we are partnered with John Pyron as his executive assistant. Um, I will continue to say that I learn from John every single day. So not to make your head, any bigger, but a
I'm
lot of
just
the
going to
things.
speak up a little bit more, puff my chest out a little bit. You know,
It's
go
not
ahead.
complicated. It's like a lot of, and I call it aha moments, a lot of aha moments. But so I've been in the industry for 16 years. I've been running my business. This month actually makes 4 years. So I call it my business birthday month. Um, so, my question, I guess, would be maybe marketing. So maybe to Toya, but I think I've asked this before, but what do you consider the best? Because I've heard a lot of the things that John is teaching, and so I'm learning from him every single day. But, what do you recommend is the best method to reach an audience marketing wise? And I know there's different platforms of social media. There's,
Okay, so let me pause you there for a second. We're not going to talk about marketing. Okay, we're
no, not
talking about
marketing, but
sales.
like getting
okay.
sales. So turning that into sales.
Well, just to say, if anybody does want to contact me to talk about marketing, and we can save that conversation for another call, just get in touch with me through incredibletowns.com, the contact page for anybody that's watching this later, not on the live broadcast. As far as sales, I mean, once you get in touch with somebody, the absolute best way that I found is to simply just get in front of them, ask a few quick questions, take the temperature, and then you go from there. If you've got someone that's interested, then you set a time to really learn about them, because selling is selling, but if you educate people instead and you answer their questions and you provide a solution to their problems in a way that fits their needs, fits their budget, they're gonna pull the credit card out or the checkbook. They're going to be like, take my money if you've solved their problem. If you've given them peace or prosperity, that's what they're looking for. So the only way you can find out if you can give them peace or prosperity is to know under what conditions that will happen. So you simply ask them what's working well, what's not working, what are your needs, what do you want to accomplish, and just shut up. They'll tell you exactly how to close that deal if you allow them the room to do that. And then it's their idea when they make the buying decision. So I don't like used car salesmen. They drive me nuts. But I love an educator. That's how you get to me. So
Yeah. So another thing that you can do, because I know you and I know your business, is, and this is something that, God, man, I wished I would have known this prior to 2012, is collect stories. Okay. I didn't realize
Amen.
that I had had all these years until Eric Laughlin pointed out, it's like you need to set up a Google Drive folder or some sort of notepad, and you need to collect stories. Stories are the absolute best way to sell, not based on your product, feature, service, etc. So let's do a real quick thing. I'll tell you exactly. I'm gonna give. In fact, I would encourage you to go back and have Gene, okay, pull this out, and go ahead before I do this, while I'm finishing up this sentence, Alicia, change your background if you can to your Turner Recruiting and Consulting background real quick. If not, we'll just put it all in the thing. But here's the deal. You got a live client on this call right now, and I'm about to tell this story, okay, and what you did for my life. Okay. So it took me 2 years, just so I'm clear, to find Alicia Turner. Okay. I went through 4 executive assistants. Okay. I went through the pain. I went through the struggle. I went through the heartache of training somebody and then not, having success, training somebody, not having success, training somebody, not having success. Okay. But at the end of the day, somebody's counting down something. That's Abby. uh, so the point is this is like I finally, you came into my life and you said, "Hey, I would love to be your assistant," and I'm like, "You're expensive." Okay, no thanks. I'm sure I can find it cheaper elsewhere. Okay, that's number one. Number two, she wouldn't leave me alone. Now, wasn't pushy. Okay. I met her in April. I just realized I met you in April of last year. Okay. I wasn't even here in Tennessee. Okay. We were on this M&O thing. Okay. So I can get acclimated, and that's where I met you. Okay. And as we got to know each other, it became very apparent I'm looking for an assistant. September, you're like, hey, I want to be that person. No, I'm not interested. No, I'm not interested. Did you stop? No, you kept following up. Lesson number one, you kept following up. Once you identify a client that you actually want, once you identify somebody that can need your services, you follow up, follow up, follow up till they buy or die. Okay. Buy means they do business with you. Die means they tell you, don't ever call me again. If you do, I'm hiring the FBI to come and put you down. Okay. And until they gets to that level, you're going to follow up till they buy or die. So Alicia, every Monday, like clockwork, hey, I was just wanted to know how I can help you. Is there anything I can help you with this week? That was it. That was her email. And I'm like, no. And then 2 weeks after that, I just stopped responding because I'm like, I felt bad. Okay. Because all she's trying to do is help me. And then finally at the end of September, I said, hey, my wife and I are celebrating 8 years of being together. I'd like to do an anniversary dinner for her. I don't even know Knoxville. Can you help me with that? Absolutely, I can help you with that. She set up a dinner. She set up a date night. She set up all the stuff. She teed it all up. I wasn't even hiring her yet. Okay. She gave me an experience with her. It turned out to be a great evening. Okay. And then she went on vacation and came back and kept following up. Finally, in the middle of November, I said, okay, fine, let's have a conversation. I didn't say that like that, but in my mind, I was like, if I don't meet with this person, she is never going to leave me alone. And all she's doing is every single Monday, like clockwork, how can I help? I'm like, all right, how can you help? I don't know. How can you help? We met, we went over it, and I told her my concerns. She says, no worry, I will take you on personally one-on-one. I will make sure that my staff supports you. I will make sure this and this, and you can cancel on a 30-day notice. I'm like, let's do it. December 2nd, we really started working together. Now we're 4 months into this, and I found my pepper pots. Now it hasn't been perfect. Okay. But anytime you're bringing on somebody, it takes a little bit of, here's the point from a sales standpoint. She did not wait for me. Correct me if I'm wrong, Alicia. You didn't sit back going, oh my God, John, I need John. John needs to sign. I can't go in business. I can't do anything else in business. Oh my God, my entire business depends on John saying yes here. No, she didn't do that. She's brought on other clients. Now, take this story I just told you, Alicia. And that's a story I want you to tell every single owner that you ever talk to for the rest of your life, because what you've done for me is you gave me about 20 hours a week of my life back. Hands down, measurable, real world result. You control literally every single thing in my life and in my business. You actually know more right now that what's going on with me in my personal life and business life than I even do. Okay. And as a business owner, I'm like, every month that I pay your invoice, every time I pay your invoice, I'm like, why am I paying this invoice? It's like, what am I getting in return? Because that's really honest. And I have to look at it like, I got my life back. That's what the parting ways from you would just, that would actually give me a nightmare, to be quite honest. And so tell that story. Now, here's the reason for everybody else. You got to have a client story like that. So my number one homework assignment for you is go and find your top 10 customers that you absolutely freaking love, that you would like to have more of, and go and talk to them and collect the story of how you met, how they came to you, What was the process you walked through to get them to sign with you? Why do they still do business with you? Okay. You know, if you were in a position to refer me, would you? What would you say about me? All the resources I'm going to send you, walk this through 100%. You're not going to have any gray area here. Okay. But if you do this and you start collecting stories, you don't have to sell nothing. Alicia literally doesn't even have to sell Turner Recruiting and Consulting. We do executive assistance. We got this, we got this, we got this. She didn't have to do any of that. All she has to do is like, hey, you're a business owner. Yep. Okay. How would you like to have 15 to 20 more hours a week of your life back? What's the catch? Do I got to do something illegal? No. All you need is 15 minutes with me on the phone. Yeah. Ask them questions. Okay. How much on your plate are you doing this week that you don't like doing? If I can show you how to get rid of those 10 things on your plate this week and give you 10 to 15 hours of your life back, would that be a good thing? Yeah. Now, that's where the amateurs stop. The pros go beyond that and go, let's just say you had 10 to 15 hours of your life back. What would you do with that time? Really? If you don't change anything and you keep doing what you're doing, are you okay with not having that 10 to 15 hours of your life back every week times 52 weeks? What's the consequence of doing nothing here? Yeah. Let me tell you my story about John Pyrant. Boom, tell him the story. Based off of everything I just said, even if half of it was true, Joe or Mr. Prospect, would it be worth you and I getting together either in person or on Zoom for 30 to 45 minutes to see if we're a fit? Yes, absolutely. I'm there. Boom, there's your conversion. Ask a bunch of questions. Tell them what they're doing, all the work that they're doing. See, I don't have to book my, like, by the way, because nobody knows this, but you're going to watch firsthand. I need you to get a hold of Allie because we got to get her car in for an oil change service. It was 3 quarts low on oil yesterday, and it's my bad because she's 4,000, almost 2,000 miles overdue because I dropped the ball. Now, the benefit of having an assistant is it's no longer on my plate right now. Alicia just made a note. She's going to take care of it. I have no idea what's going to happen. And I don't even know how much it's going to cost me. She's got my credit card, so she's going to make sure it gets paid for. That's the benefit of having Turner Recruiting and Consulting handle your executive support. Boom, done. You need stories like that. Every one of us, guys, okay? MD Creations, Choya, Abby, Justin, Brian, Ash, Mona, Rita, Jay, all of us need stories, okay? I don't care about your features and services unless I know how they benefit me. You know, when I say to people, oh, I got 2,000 business owners under my belt, 17,000 sessions, big freaking deal, dude. Who cares? What are you going to do for me? That's what my customer cares about. Okay. And so think about your customers. Okay. Get their story. Turn around and practice with each other. Okay. And you'll have so much fun with sales when you take that pressure off. Be yourself. Okay. What's next? Anybody else have any? We got time. Okay. Who else has got a sales question? Bring it. Okay. Because I'm calling somebody, man. I got to have their video on. All right, Rita, you're on deck.
Oh, it's so funny that you called me because I was thinking in my head, I don't have one question, I have 1,000 questions. And I always feel like that whenever there's a time for it. It's okay, it's your turn, ask. Right? So,
Yes.
and the follow-up
which-
was going to be what I had thought of a few minutes ago. So I have some people that have said, "Oh yeah, I would like that. I need that. Can't buy it right now." And then my question was, again, but I feel like you answered it because I can just still keep calling them weekly in a caring, serving mode, not in a, you said you want to buy, where's the money, right? But just stay in touch and see, because things change in their lives, I guess, and something might change and they might say, I'm really really glad you called today because I can buy it now and I am ready to jump on board or something like that. So that was going to be my question, but you already answered.
Okay, sorry about that.
Well-
Somebody was outside and I'm like, I get hurt. So anyways, I heard what you said. So
But I'm on the
Christine-
right track with that, right? Just like she did with you, just keep staying in touch, even though you're not buying from me. I care about you and I can help you. I know I can.
so Alicia, add the marketing touch system to this resources that we're going to give away. Okay. So I got sick and tired of making cold calls. Okay. Got sick and tired of it. In 2003, I invented this system that I've used ever since. And I use it today. Every client I teach it to today, they have as many appointments as they actually want. Okay. And that is, it's the principle of operating from a place of abundance, not scarcity. Okay. Once I identify that you are a prospect for me, I'm not going to sit there and go, are you interested? 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 Hey,
Right.
this is Rita again. I'm the funnel godmother. I can do this for you. Are you interested? Hey, no, I've got to have different ways of following up.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And what this marketing touch system does, it says, okay, happiness is 200 qualified leads. What is a qualified lead? Qualified lead is you're a decision maker. I cannot take no from someone who can't say yes. Principle number one. Number two, I have your name, I have your phone number, and I have your email. Okay. Now, if you need an advanced pro tip on this, and maybe you're selling enterprise level services, or maybe you're selling a widget, United States Library has a free resource called Information USA. Now, some of the libraries have a different name for it. Okay. But you could take any one of your current customers, go to the library, and then a lot of libraries have an online deal, but you got to have a library card. You type in your customer into this database, and it will respond with all the information about your customer. It'll give you what's called an SIC code and an NISC code. Okay. You take that code, you put it in the searchable database. I only want these customers with this much and this mile radius. Go. And it'll send you the names, phone numbers, email addresses of every single person within a 50-mile radius, 100-mile radius, 200-mile radius, 1,000-mile radius, depends on the stuff that you do. Okay, the search parameters, and you'll have all the leads you want. Okay, now I got a lead. Great. Now I got to warm them up. The appointment setting marketing touch system does this. I can take 200 contacts, put them in this system, follow the system, and warm them up like a crock pot. And as
And is
long
that
as I'm
what the
consistent,
resources she's sending today?
yeah.
Okay.
Yep. All I got to do is work that system. And after 90 days of being consistent, I will have as many appointments as I want. Okay. I invented this because all I had to go off of was cold leads. That system works today. It's been working even better now than it ever has been because of the invention of AI. Okay. But every single one of us here, okay, if I'm Abby Wilson, I'm going to go back and I'm going to make a list of every single client I've had since I've been in business. I'm going to put them into a spreadsheet, name, phone number, email address if I have it. Okay. If I don't have their name, if I don't have their email address or their phone number, I'm going to put them in a different sheet. I'm going to use them some other time. But for now, I need name, phone number, email address. I'm going to put them in a system, this marketing touch system. I'm going to follow that system, and I'm going to provide incredible content for them over time and a follow-up method that's going to ensure they think about me the next time they have a plumbing problem. Okay. And then from there, I'm going to continue to add value, and I'm going to have as many clients as I want. And especially if I'm in a business like Abby's, okay, once you're a client of mine on the block that I have got you on, I'm getting all your neighbors' clients too, because I'm going to follow this system. Okay. And so, especially if you're in the trades, that is one of the biggest secrets to scaling your business and ultimately being able to sell it is you own blocks of customers, not one customer here, one customer there, one customer here, one customer there. The key is being able to prove to an investor or a buyer, hey, when my guy goes out in the truck, he's parked on that block for an entire day. And
Oh, right.
I
Okay.
get maximum value out of the 40 hours a week I pay him or her. And I'm not wasting time with drive time and gas and mileage and all this other stuff. I got them parked on that block for an entire day. So I've been able to build lots of trades companies and sell them. Okay. But it comes down to sales is a strategy, right? You got a bunch of customers right now, Rita.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just go to them and do exactly what we talked about today. They'll give you referrals. Take all these small business matters people that you've gotten all these business cards. Now, Choya has got a good buddy, okay, who I did a call with last week, and I bought his card system. Put it in the chat window if you can, Choya, because that is like the biggest godsend on the planet. I can take all these cards, spread them out on my desk here, take one photo, and all that software that dude invented does all the work. Okay. And so same thing with see who else do I know in here? Okay. Ash Jones. Okay. Nancy. Okay. Alicia. Okay. All who attend networking events. Get this app. Okay. I told him, man, he needs to give me an affiliate link because I'll promote the crap out of this thing. You know, because I got a story to tell now. Because I was taking photos of this. I was sending it to Alicia, who was then sending it to Gene, who was then inputting these things into my system, and invariably, 20% of the time she missed a number or an email or whatever, and it was wrong, and had to go back and be created. And meanwhile, I'm paying her but an hourly wage to do all this crap. This dude shows me this software. Now this is a story. Keep in mind, story. Right? I'm on a 10-minute call with the dude. I take these cards, I scan it and put it here. I paid the $5 to sign up for his deal. I hit go. Jay, check this out. I didn't have to make a single edit.
That's
Not
beautiful.
a single edit.
I just put the
And
link in the chat.
Whatever he has programmed on the back end is some Jedi Master stuff because it went out on the internet. It took all those cards and it actually put them in a business category. And I was like, holy cow. Then I hit export and imported it into my system. The whole process took less than 5 minutes. And then I fired up Loom and created an SOP, sent it to Alicia because I'm not doing any of this crap. Okay. And now my team has a process and a system in place. Okay. So that way we can accelerate the sales process. So here's the point. Every single person you meet, no matter what business you have here today, all of you watching the recording, all of you listening to the podcast channel, I want you to pay very close attention. Okay. What I'm about to say, because it's going to make you lots and lots of money for the rest of your life. Every single human being that you encounter is either a prospect or they will lead you to a prospect. I think the biggest mistake salespeople make is undervaluing a relationship. Every single human being on this planet, according to God, Psalm 139, verse 13 to be exact, I designed you in your mother's womb. Okay, every single intricate component of you as a human being, I designed. Fast forward to verse 16. I knew you before you were even born. I numbered the days you're going to live before you took your first breath. And then he goes on in to say in there, I got great plans for your life. So what that tells me is every single human being, no matter what my opinion about them is, God holds their butt in high regard. And all I got to do in sales is get to know them and figure out how I can help them. And I will have as many sales as I want. And so that's probably the number one strategy for sales is become genuinely interested in another human being. You don't know where that relationship's going to go, man. You really don't. And you got to do enough of it every day so you're not focused on you and your commission and I got to close a deal. No, our goal is to go out and meet people. If I don't know you, I cannot flow you money. Okay. And so we've covered a lot here today. I want to make sure, Alicia, that we summarize this right. We're going to give the Powerbase system, the POI system. We're going to give the sales process training I did for the Small Business Administration and the Marketing Touch system. Okay. And then contacts4.us. So the word contacts with an S, the number 4.us is the website. Okay, go get that scanner. I'm gonna tell that dude, man, you got to create an affiliate link. I already talked to him, man. Like I can make a lot of money on that one. Anyways, those are the systems that we're gonna send you. Okay, again, when you respond, whether it's now and all that you put in the chat windows, Alicia's got it down. You're gonna get the emails. Okay. Everybody listening to this recording and in the future, okay, respond to either Choya, okay, to Incredible Towns, or johnpyron.com, okay, and jpyron at johnpyron.com or just johnpyron.com, and you'll figure it out. Sales, what did we say to put in there? Resource 04132026. Okay. And that's going to signal my team now and 10 years from now what to send you. Okay. And go out and execute and then show. And then here's the magic move. Show up every call and go, hey, I tried what you said and it didn't work. Help me fix it. And then I can coach you live on helping you fix it. And it's a win-win for both of us. Okay. Because all Troy and I want to do here on this call is provide a resource for our existing customers and our networks that is extremely valuable. If you felt like you got a lot out of today's call, like it, comment, share it, and invite other people to this call. All right. So bless all of you. Thanks for being here. Next week is going to be about operations, systems, processes. And here's the deal. You know you need this, and here's my homework for you. Take your entire revenue number for the year, the last 12 months, top line revenue number. Take yourself and every single employee that you have, how much money it costs you for them with taxes, burden rate, computers, everything. And if you don't know how to do that, just take whatever you paid them, times it by 1.23, and you'll get a burden rate. That's pretty average. Add that number up, divide that by the total revenue. And if it's not 2.5 or higher, your processes and systems are a problem. Okay. Hands down, you have an efficiency problem. You can argue it all you want, but the math doesn't lie. Okay. Show up next week and we'll show you how to fix those operational systems and problems. And I'll give you even more additional resources. Okay. And again, if you want to connect with me, go to johnpyron.com, click on book appointment, get you on the calendar. Alicia will get a hold of you and we'll see what we can do to help you from there. But other than that, go out and make it happen this week. Be blessed.